Hi, I'm Brendan from The Plant World of Gardening, and I'm going to show you how to sow some seed today. We're going to sow some on broadcast over open seed trays. Here I have some celery seed. So this is a little seed dispenser that I have for years and years. You pick them up in garden shops. You could use just out straight out of a seed packet either, but it's just easier to see them on this. So I would expect probably to have about 150 to 200 seedlings in a tray that size for something as small as celery. And as soon as they're big enough to handle, we'll transplant them into a larger plug or a section of some description. That's about the amount of seed now I'll sow over the tray. So just secret to getting good distribution of seed is try not to sow it in one pass. Like 2 or 3 passes will give you much more even distribution on seed. See there now, it's very difficult to see now with the white. There's a bit of perlite in the compost there, so it's hard to see. You can cover this with a light layer of compost, preferably a bit of vermiculite or perlite in it, or you can cover it completely with perlite. I'm going to cover these with perlite, and what I'll use now is a fine grade of perlite. This perlite allows light and moisture to the seed as well as keeping it covered, so it's ideal. A lot of seeds actually need light to germinate, so perlite is ideal for that. So just a light shake over them like that. As a rule of thumb, you can cover seeds to twice their own depth. So that's very little in most cases. So there's just a nice even cover. Now what I'm going to do with that is I have a tray of water here. What we do is we put the seed tray into a tray of water, not too deep. Make sure that the water isn't so deep it comes over the top of the tray, but maybe about half the depth of the tray. So the water will come up to about there on the tray. And I leave that in it, and the first sign of moisture reaching the top of the tray, then I'll take it out. So that can take a few minutes sometimes to sow. So in the meantime here, I'm going to sow this other seed tray. So I've sowed celery on the first one. I'm going to sow lettuce. This is an oak leaf lettuce. I'm going to sow probably, you'd expect on a seed tray that size to get maybe at the most 300 to 400 seedlings of lettuce per tray. So in most cases you won't want that much lettuce, but you can sow half or quarter of a tray or divide it with something. So again, try and get over it with more than one pass with an even distribution. So the more passes you make on it, the more even it's going to be. Again, in this case, seed is a little bigger than the celery, so we can cover it. We can cover it with compost again. So I use the holes in the bottom of a pot just to shake it out like a riddle. So nice even cover and not too heavy. Again, twice the depth of the seed itself, which amounts to very little. In this case, because it's compost, I'll just very, very lightly pat it with the board there to tamp it down, and into the tray then to soak. So as soon as they're soaked, the minute I see moisture hitting the top on either of those trays, I'll take them out and we put them in on to germinate there. Cover them with clear plastic for a few days. If it's very bright sunshine, we put a little bit of white over it or a little bit of green netting just to keep the scorch off, keep the sun from scorching them. And I'd expect to see germination on them in about 10 to 14 days. Thanks for watching, and join us on our social media channels. Bye.